And hello again, and once again we're looking at my high-tech graph, and to remind you all, this curve here is tracing quality versus price, and what we're trying to find are watches in this area here which are high quality but not such a high price. And in the last episode we covered chronographs, where I suggested two possible options, the Zenith Rainbow and the IWC Spitfire chronograph. And in this episode we're going to cover divers, and looking for a high quality diver without the high price hasn't been so easy for me because I'm not that into divers. But let's see what we can find. Now the obvious choice is going to be a Rolex Submariner like this one here that I own. This is a ceramic diver. The problem with that is that there are no real bargains, there are no hidden gems. Everybody knows the value of a Rolex diver, but if you can afford it, then I would certainly recommend you go for the obvious choice, which is this Rolex Submariner. And the next obvious choice is quite a new one. It's the Tudor Black Bay. I chose the Black Bay because it's a classic design. The Pelagos, while interesting, I think could well end up being quite unfashionable in time. So the Tudor Black Bay is the one to go for me. That said, the Black Bay is currently very popular, very fashionable. Whether it will continue to be in the decades ahead, who knows? But right now there aren't any bargains to be had with the Tudor Black Bay. So for now we'll put those two aside and look elsewhere. And so for a number one recommendation for a dive watch, which is a bit of a hidden gem with high quality without the high price, is another IWC, and it's the Aquatimer 2000. Now IWC have been making these Aquatimers for a very long time, I think since the 60s, late 60s. Now these particular models are 44mm, 14mm thick, which is about the limit for me, but I think for a dive watch it needs to be big and bold, so that's fine. Some models have an internal bezel which you turn with a crown on the outside, and some don't. You can even get them in titanium as well as stainless steel, and I think the thing that makes me want to recommend these watches is the sheer build quality. The case, the fitment, and in particular the bracelet is superb. And I must say I was very impressed with its overall quality, and as I say, particularly with the bracelet. Now price wise, there is quite a big range, going from about £2,500 right up to sort of £4,000 or £5,000. And any models in that range I think will be a good buy. But as for most watches on the second-hand market, if you have a choice, always go for the bracelet option and not the strap option. Because new, the bracelet option is always much more expensive, whereas on the used market the difference isn't quite so much. So let's have a quick look online at prices. I'm looking at Watchfinder here, who are one of the biggest online retailers, and they've got quite a few Aquatimers for sale here, though I am only interested in the three-handers here, not the chronographs. And so on here we've got two of interest. There's a GST Aquatimer, that's 10 years old, and it's an offer for $2,450. And next to it there's a 9-year-old one, this time on a strap, which is $2,450 as well. Now of the two, I'd go for the bracelet option because I think that's better value. Now obviously eBay will show you some prices less than this, and for me, if I'm buying used, I just want to see the watch before I buy it, and that means I prefer to buy from dealers with a good reputation where I can go and see the watch, such as Iconic or Blowers. And now I'm going to throw in one more watch which I think could be a bit risky, it's a bit left field, but let's see what you guys think about it. And so my second choice, my oddball choice, is a Bremont, and it's the Bremont Supermarine S500, which we can see here. We can see the side, the back. It's got quite a nice case back. Now it's 43mm, it's got quite an interesting case. Again, it's got a ETA based movement on it, again with some small amount of changes by Bremont, who knows what. But it's a very tough watch. It's got that patented anti-shock protection, it's got a very tough outer case, and the AR coating in particular was very, very nice. Not too keen on the rubber strap, so again, on the second-hand market, go for a bracelet if you can. And new, I think these Bremonts overall are quite overpriced, but second-hand on the used market, I think they could be a good buy. And these are now available on the used market for around £1,800, £2,000, maybe a bit more for a nice one. And for an everyday watch that you're going to keep a long time, I think that could make a very good choice. Now there is one caveat to this particular brand, or Bremont. It may continue to grow and be successful, in which case the original watches from the first year or two may become quite valuable. However, if the company doesn't do so well, if it starts to fade away, if maybe gets bought out by a Chinese company or whatever, then in time, then its image could start to fall away. And if that happens, then the price of second-hand models will also start to fall away. So this particular brand is a risk, but if the company continues to do well, then it may well be a great buy. So again, thanks for watching. I'd be interested to know in the comments what you think about my choices, and if you've got some other choices for a diver on the used market which is high quality but not such a high price. Anyway, thanks for watching and cheers.